Just don't mind the mess behind me, okay? Please. What up, though? We are back, finally. It's 2026. I've waited long enough to be back, and I'm just excited to be here. I'm in a different frame of mind right now, and I'm in a different space, as you can see. I wanted to create this video on how to make time for everything because I feel like that's something that I truly struggled with. If you see me kind of looking to the left, it's not because I'm trying to be rude and not like look at you guys. It's because I have all of my notes here and I can bring them a little bit more to the right so they're not so far off the camera. And just to kind of give you like a quick backstory without taking too long, I really did realize that I was stuck in like the I'll do it later kind of a cycle like my whole life, right? Let's just keep it real. My whole life, I've been like that. I've been like the procrastinator. I'll do it later. Oh, it's not a problem. I can just wait until the last minute to do this or to pay that, to take care of this. From homework to just any assignments and projects to paying a bill at the last minute to just showing up late to events or showing up right before the event starts. Like that has just been my life, and that literally had consumed me because the old phrase, like old habits die hard. That was totally me. That was my life. That is what I lived by. Totally not kidding. That's what it was. Basically, that was, my relationship with time and productivity. I felt like, as a lot of young people feel, I think, I felt like I've got time. Like I'm good. Like I don't need to rush. I will be there when I when I get there. My day to day looked a lot like that, and it was just there was no rush. I just sort of had a slow roll about myself, but I'm realizing that as an adult that's kind of taking an effect on me now, and I really had to do something about it. I think a large part of why I couldn't get to some of my goals as quickly as I wanted to get to them is because I always said like I had time. Like that was my thing. I got time. Like if it's meant for me, it'll happen. You know that phrase? Like people be saying that like, "Oh my God, like if it's my blessing, it's going to be for me." Like yeah, that's true, but I mean, you got to do something. You got to do something. You got to work towards it. You got to close the gap between where you are and where you're trying to be. You can't just say everything is basically going to be up to the universe to make that decision. I think the Bible says to show yourself proven. Let me know in below if I'm like making that up or if that's like a real thing. Because I'm not trying to like add to the Bible, y'all. Like I'm totally not trying to do that. And I guess I could Google it myself and figure it out, huh? But I'll say for me, my turning point when I really started to design my time differently and what that looked like was long after when I became overgrown, right? As I call it. Like I'm good and grown. After I started having my kids. And that was roughly in my like mid to late 30s, which really wasn't that long ago, but it was long enough. I started designing my time differently when I realized that you know, like just kind of getting off key for just a minute. Like if you have kids, you know what I'm saying? Like if you know, you know that you can't wing it with kids. Like that's a non-negotiable. Like they are not going to let you wing it. They run the house. They don't pay a bill. That's just life. And so when I had my kids, I started like in the early like newborn stages. That's when I really came to the conclusion. I can't speak today. That's when I came to the conclusion like, oh dang, like these babies really do run everything. Like I have lost full control. So it like in the early stages I gave all the control up. Like they can have it. But it became chaotic because it was like one child and then times two when my youngest came along and I'm like, I'm struggling. Like this is wild. I don't know how I'm gonna get my time back. And all of a sudden it started becoming clear to me that I was getting to a point where I was just overwhelmed. I was overstimulated. I was all the things. And I was like, how do I get back or get better, right? Let's just be realistic. Sometimes you can't get back to a certain place in your life, but you can get better. And that takes a lot of work. I literally became obsessed with how to make my time work for me as a wife, as a mom, as a caretaker, an employee, a content creator, as a friend, as a sister, as all the things. How do I put myself in position where I can really make the best use of my time? As my husband would say, how I can maximize my time. An approach that really works for me. I'm like a visual person. I'm more along the lines of like, for me, if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. And I've forgotten about it and it is what it is. But I feel like when I have things in my space, I feel like I can be, if I choose to be, I can be influenced by those things. And what systems and approaches have really worked for me is to make sure that I always have something like reminders, right? Those are huge. And whether you're like an Apple user or if you're Android or something like that, you can still use your reminders app, whatever apps you use for reminders, to notify you of those things that you need to get taken care of. I mean, it dials it down all the way to like if you want to set like your priorities for it. How urgent is this? Do you want it to give you reminders of when you're supposed to be reminded about the thing? How often do you want to be reminded after the alert, goes off? Do you want it to be remind you at a certain time, date, location? Is it an all day thing? Is it a specific instance? You really can have control over that, and you can make the determination as to how often you want something like that in your space. And I feel like for me, who I'm a visual person, and I don't know if you're the same way, but if you are, that could really help you out, because it's just literally one or two or five or 10 things off of your to-do list that you don't even have to think about. It's not even a thing. You could just be like, yo, I got something I got to do. I want to go to dinner with the girls, or I got a work thing or whatever. And you could be like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and plan that. So it's all good. It's like, you don't even have to worry about that. Hold on. Sorry. I have to take this. I was sitting on a heating pad. It is so hot, and this was burning up. It's going to be more junky in my background, but who cares? That can help you out. I think also to things like, if you're, I don't know how you feel about this, but if you are like a person who really doesn't like to go to the grocery store, you can either have your groceries delivered at, of course, with extra fees included, or you can do curbside pickup. I mean, that to me has been a major lifesaver, especially because I'm the one who's tasked with buying the groceries for the house. That's just a thing. Like, I didn't sign up for that, but all of a sudden, like, I'm responsible for that now. I can't stand it. I don't like it for me, but I have found a way to make things easier. So that way it's just, again, another thing that's off of my plate. I don't have to be like, I got to go to the grocery store and now I got to go, aisle to aisle and figure out my life and be there for probably 2-3 hours because I just can't figure anything out. To be honest with you, what I've started doing is I don't even create a shopping list anymore. I'm just like, if we're out of stuff around the house, I'm just seeing it. Like, I'll just go right to my Walmart app. I will look for the thing. And then once I find it, I'll add it to my cart. Guess what? That's 2 for 1. I've put it on my list. And now I know that when it's time for me to purchase and I've gone through the house and figured out everything we need, I've got it all right here. If I'm forgetting anything, I have a certain time limit after I make my purchase to add to the order. Sometimes you can do that. It saves me so much time and effort as opposed to having to get dressed, get the kids dressed, probably go drive to the store, find parking, because we all know that's our favorite thing in the world to do. Go through the store, go get all the crap that you need to get, plus stuff you weren't even in there to get in the first place. So now you're overspending. But then the good thing about doing it that way is like you get to kind of like budget your monies and see what you're spending before you spend it, as opposed to going in the store, going aisle to aisle, being at the register, making all these impulse buys that's like you get home and you're like, dang, man, I got like 2 bags of groceries and it's like $60. Like, it's wild. But then again, it's 2026 and everything has just gone up. But I mean, those are like just a couple of things that are really, really helpful. How I feel now compared to how I felt before, when I really had like no type of anything as it pertains to like really maximizing my time. Like, I feel more relief now. I feel more in control. I feel like empowered even. And so that's why I feel like it's really important to be able to share this with you, because I really wish that somebody would have like given me some tips and tricks, like real life stuff too. Like, not like fluff, but like some really important points to say like, hey, this is what helped me. And if this is something that, you're struggling with, then you might want to take these little pieces of candy home and marinate on that, because this is some good stuff, right? If you're stuck in this cycle of, like, I don't have time, I think that this is going to be something that's going to be truly helpful for you. So I just urge you to stay for the entire conversation. I'm not sure just yet how this might be split up, just because this is something that's got a lot of meat and potatoes in it. So if the video gets too long, then I'm definitely going to split it up into multiple parts, probably about 2 parts, because I do value people's time. But, if I can squeeze it all together in one value pack video, I'll do that too. Like we gonna make it work. I promise you. I think sometimes when the days start, right? Sometimes they can be chaotic. It just depends on what you have going on in your personal life. I know for me, my mornings don't start off as slow as I would like them, but it's just a work in progress, right? It does start off pretty quiet for the most part, but I wake up usually around the time that I have to wake up, right? I'm trying to get back into creating those habits that I speak about, and so I'm restructuring my schedule now. But generally, when I wake up, my husband and I we do wake up together. I start with, making up the bed, just kind of getting things ready for the day. I'm sort of preparing myself for the day ahead, and I'm just making sure that everybody's got everything that they need to. So when they wake up, they're kind of hitting the ground running in a sense. And I feel like my attitude it tends to be the same. It tends to be that way. One thing that has helped me a lot as it pertains to like my attitude when I wake up in the morning is I think about the day before. Now, I know this sounds a little bit weird because I'm like, why would you be going backwards? You're supposed to be moving forward. Like, what are we doing? But the reason why I think about the day before is because if I had a really good day, let's say I had a really great day at work, I got a lot accomplished. The day before, I tried to put it in my mind to say, the day before you had a great success with something, whether you had like a really great progress report or whatever, you pretty much rocked yesterday afternoon, when you left work. You did great. Now, the feeling when you do a really good job and you're like, okay, I'm good. Like, I feel like I could just be up all night because I feel productive. I feel this, I feel that. You kind of just have all of those, what do you call it? Like the endorphins and things like that, all of your, hormones and everything bubbling through you. But like when you have that feeling, it's just almost like there's nothing like it. That adrenaline is pumping. You're feeling really good about what you've done, the amount of work you put in. You gave it your best, and you want to keep that feeling going, right? So when I wake up in the morning, that is kind of what I harp on. I think about what I did yesterday and how I could be better today, right? Because the two are relative, right? It'd be a totally different day, but yeah, okay, yesterday went this way, but you know what? Let's see if we can't make today better. Let's see if we can at least make it what it was yesterday, at bare minimum. And let's just move onward and upward and try to be better and, than we were yesterday. But if we don't get there, that's okay. That's not like, a total deal breaker or anything like that. But it's just something to kind of set a goal for that day. So you're waking up and then you have that positive attitude. You have that can do. Like, I'm going to get up and I'm going to rock today because that's what the goal is. I think what basically would derail me from my goals personally would be like if there was something that happened that threw off a plan that I had. Now, hear me out. I'm not a rigid person. I'm not OCD by any means. Trust me, I got the bedroom to prove it. Okay. I just feel like sometimes when things don't go as planned, I tend to get like, I don't like this. I don't like that this is not going according to the way I planned it. And why? What's happening? Because then I feel like I've kind of lost control over something. And so depending on what the situation is, I really have to use sound logic and reasoning to just kind of like say, either this is a big deal and this can't happen because this is going to throw everything out of whack, or you know what? I think we can maybe squeeze some things around. We can compromise and we can learn how to make it work. So, yeah, just depending on how that goes, it could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing, but that would be something that's an example for me, how things could derail for me. So in that moment, I just tell myself, try to be fair and try to make sense of what's going on. You're not overreacting and you're making sure that everything is everything, but things are not always going to go your way. You already know that. It's just one of those things that I have to remind myself because in the moment, of course I want it to go my way, like duh, but it's just, that's not life, right? What does later never comes look like in your real life? What does that mean? So I'm going to just keep it all the way real with y'all. Listen, we're here, right? We can have this conversation. So instead of working on my goals, I would say I have like the the worst habit. I have just become really bad as it pertains to like scrolling on social. I'm terrible at it. At the end of the week when you guys get that like report at the end of the week that tells you like how much screen time you've had in the last week. Let me tell you, mine comes like every Sunday at about 9 in the morning, like 9:15 in the morning. And it's shameful. I be like, dang. I mean, you would think I didn't have a job. You would think I got no kids. I have no responsibilities. I have nothing going on except scrolling on this daggone phone. Because that report, it's just, I'm like, are you looking at my phone? Sometimes I have to check myself, but I do wind up scrolling quite a bit, and it's wild, y'all. I'm not even gonna hold you. My husband sometimes has to be the one to hold me accountable because I've made the mistake of saying, you know, can you hold me accountable? He took that mug to heart, so he's like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm scrolling on my phone. What are you doing? Let's pretend like this is my phone. This is my microphone case. I just do do do. Here you come. What are you doing? Checking out this really cool video. Scroll, scroll. Aren't you supposed to be working? I'm doing content research. Good and daggum well. I'm looking at like the Ball Brothers or something. Like, I'm not doing content research. Whenever I do this, and let's just say I do this for like a week straight, it's not good because then I wind up going throughout the entire week and I didn't get anything accomplished. All I did was scroll. So I'm looking at what everybody else is doing. I'm looking at all the other content creators. I'm looking at them putting things out. I'm looking at the momentum that they have. And meanwhile, back at band camp, I was sitting over here scrolling on my phone because I'm tired from work and kids and life and all the things. I'm pretty sure the same people who are in your phone are tired of the same thing. But we all have the same 24 hours, right? It just depends on what you do with it. I'm not saying, let me clear this up before people eat me up in the comments. I'm not saying that you shouldn't take a break. That's totally not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying that if there is something that you are pursuing and it's going to require you to take some of your free time in order to make those things happen, then you owe it to yourself to start that process. Start the first phase, even if it's something as small as research. I've said it in previous videos before that it is just sort of like the bare minimum that you can do, but you can do it. You can do it. It just takes a little bit of effort on your part, but you just have that low barrier to entry. Just make it as simple as you can and just get in there and just start it. And you'll be surprised too. Like once you really put that first foot forward, you can move forward and forward and forward and move on. And before you know it, you will be in such a different place in a small amount of time just because you are like, I think, surprising yourself. You know what I mean? And that like in a good way. Like you are doing the daggum thing. You're not waiting on anybody. You're doing your thing. And, that's always a good feeling. And so you always want to like hold on to that feeling. And that's what I was talking about earlier with like the adrenaline and all that. Just being able to fulfill your purpose is like a whole different kind of vibe. And I'm totally here for that. Long story longer, that's pretty much what it is. So I will say that, and y'all can probably relate to me, like a lie that I used to tell myself a lot as it pertains to like finding time and stuff like that is just like, oh, if I had a little bit more time, I could get the thing done. But it's just like, I mean, yeah, that's like, I think we all kind of wish we had more time in a day. The truth of the matter is it's not necessarily about needing more time, but it's about doing what you can with what you have. This goes past time. It's not necessarily just a time related thing, but this can cover different aspects. So you have to work with what you have. Sometimes you're not going to have everything that you want when it's time for you to get started, but it's just about you making those small, making the effort, taking the effort, making the effort. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. So it's about making that effort and just making sure, like, okay, like I'm actively moving. I'm placing that one foot in front of the other, so I can gain traction towards the thing that I'm really interested in. What do they actually need instead of more time? That's a really good question. What do you actually need instead of more time? Literally answering this in real time. I would have to say what's needed more than just time is it's just some level of structure, right? And this is something that I'm still learning. I'm still kind of like going through it in the ripe old age of 40. Because here's the thing, and I'm going to keep it all the way real and keep it honest with you. Just when you start to learn something new, just when you get used to something, some things can change, right? And that's what I was saying earlier, when I was talking about like sometimes I'm not very good with change because I'm like, if it's something that I didn't plan for, then I feel some type of way. And then I'm like, ho, slow down, player. Like, what are we doing? Because, you know what I'm saying? Like, why are we changing up the plans? That's not what we agreed on. But when I say about like structure, which is needed more so than time, I think it's because when there is some sort of structure there, that is the one thing that I feel, and this is in my experience, that time can't compete with. If you find a way to work smarter instead of harder, then time is no longer, it's not as much of a challenge as it used to be. I'm not going to say no longer, but I'm going to say that it's not as much of a challenge when you find a way to be more efficient in whatever your process is, your whatever your workflow, your research, or whatever your phase you're in. Then all of a sudden you have almost in a sense beat the system because you figured out a way how to do it that works for you. You figured out what your preference is and how you are more likely to achieve that thing, as opposed to making an excuse like, I've got time, I can figure it out, it ain't a big thing, I'll get there when I get there. I used to say that a lot. That's terrible. I will give you an illustration. So, like, let's say, for example, that I had a goal of, with my YouTube channel, I want to be able to have, I don't know, I'm just going to like make up something. I want to have like 10,000 subscribers by the end of 2026. Totally not saying that that's not possible. That's not really a measurable thing. But let's just say that it is. So if I wanted to say, okay, well, I want 10,000 by the end of the year, then that would mean that if it is April now and we have like roughly 8 months left of the year, then that would mean I have to have, what, like, I don't know. I'm not really good at math, but I need to have so many like thousands of subscribers by this month to get here by the end of December. Instead of just looking at it from, okay, I got to figure out where I am now to get to that point. It's like, no, don't always think about it like that. Sometimes it's okay to think about it in reverse, and then you can break it down too. So if you want to save money, like that's a completely measurable goal. And let's say you want to save 10,000, well, I'm not going to say 10. Let's say $8,000 cuz I'm not really good with math. But let's say if you want to save like $8,000 by the end of the year. Okay, we got like 8 months left. Like counting April, right? So April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. That's like 9 though. Counting April, that's like 9. So let's say starting in May, you want to save you want to save, what I say, like $800 by the end of December, and you want to say that by the end of every month you're going to have $1,000 because you said, okay, this is the goal. I'm starting at the finish line, and then I'm going to work my way backwards and break it down. So if I'm breaking it down, I now know what my end goal is, but in order to meet that goal, there has to be steps in between to meet that goal. Once I can meet these monthly steps, then you know what, I think like I'm good. Like I think I got this. And so that's how you pretty much start to make that plan. You're creating your own blueprint. You have to ask yourself whether or not this is realistic for you. And then you kind of tailor it according to your thing, right? And what makes sense for you. Again, that's just kind of like a little extra boop boop. Hopefully that's a helpful tip for you. It was definitely a helpful tip for me because I love a good like blueprint, and like I love to reverse engineer stuff. Probably because I'm a little bit of a nerd, but it's cool. It's cool. Nerds are cool. So I want to also discuss something that I don't always hear about in other videos, but it's been kind of touched on here and there. But I kind of want to expound on it just a little bit from personal experience. I have learned that sometimes being productive at the wrong time is discouraging. And let me explain how. When you try to force yourself to do something that your body is just not ready to do, you actually wind up putting yourself in a position where your body follows like that certain rhythm. So if like let's say for example, you're like, for me, I do content creation and I'm like, I don't feel like filming. That's a good example, but it's a bad example. So it's a good example in a sense where if my body doesn't necessarily feel like it, what's going to wind up happening, and this is such a specialization in a way because it's a real creative thing. You have to really, I don't know, I feel like I'm almost disproving my point, but I feel like you really have to put yourself in a mindset to really push to do something. But I feel like there's a thin line between discipline and not listening to your body. And this is not just content creation. This is anything, honey. This can be like working out. It can be anything. It can relate literally to anything. It's not making excuses so you don't do the thing and you can procrastinate even more and not make the best use of your time. Because again, it gets kind of sticky a little bit, right? But what I'm talking about here is like really and truly listening to your body. And if your body is just basically telling you that we are not in this rhythm right now, this is not what we're doing, you really do have to listen to your body. There are people who will work, for example, who might be workaholics, and it's a little bit harder for them to shut off because of the fact that this is what they're used to. I'll give you a perfectly good example of the different times of days and how I'm figuring out what's best for me. I work as a web developer and designer during the day. For me, doing web development takes a lot of focus. It takes a lot of mental energy. It takes a lot of, quiet time at times because I need to apply a lot of pressure. I'm sorry if I'm like, when I say my P's, I'm emphasizing and it's sort of hitting the microphone. But basically, I really need to focus. With that, I take that information and say the best time for me to get into it is probably about mid-morning. And the reason why is because when I get to work, I'm not always in the mindset of, okay, I must sit down. I got to do this. Da, 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 da. I'm not there immediately. Sometimes I got to, okay, let me go ahead and check my email real quick. Let me go ahead and check my messages and make sure I didn't miss anything. Let me check the calendar and see what we got going on today. So that way I know what's happening. If I have anything that maybe from the day before that's like a small task that can just be completed so I can wipe it off of my digital desk, it's something that I just have to do. But then I'll say, okay, once all these things are good, these communications have been completed, I feel like I can move on to the next thing. And then when I am checking things off of my list, I feel better, more empowered to move on to the next thing. And I do like task shifting is what it's called when you're kind of moving on to like whatever the next thing is. And so when I do that task shifting, it actually is a good thing at that time because I'm listening to my body and that we have to start small and work our way up. So that's why mid-morning is a better time for me to get into focus work instead of just like hitting the ground running the minute I get to work and doing development. Because my mind is not quite there yet. It has to kind of get primed to get to that point, right? So now we're at that time and I'm able to go ahead and do all of my development work in the like late morning. And then sometime later when my mind is a little bit tired, I can task shift and do something else that doesn't require as much mental energy. But that's me listening to my body and working with those rhythms, not working against it and making me do something that I don't want to do, which I'm going to wind up being discouraged from doing it. So one of two things is going to happen. I'm either going to quit it because I'm no longer interested because I'm not in the mood to do it in the first place. Or if I do it, I'm not going to wind up giving it my best because I'm just not there mentally. And I don't want to be a part of anything that I can't give my best to. So why do that? So that's something that I really wanted to just like go into. I feel like when people talk about like doing like audits like that, it could be like more towards like the medical side of things. I'm not talking about medical side of things. I'm not qualified, nor am I interested in putting you through that. But yeah, so I think that is something that is super important and needs to be emphasized because when you work with your energy, my personal experience has been that I learn more about myself and I feel more comfortable. I feel more secure in that because I am really and truly working with myself to make sure that I am doing what's in my best interest. So hopefully that'll help you too. I think the cost of ignoring that natural like energy rhythm is just you doing yourself an injustice because of the fact that you could quit You could quit, or you could just burn out altogether. You see it all the time. People just like overwork, and they're not listening to their bodies. And then, they wind up getting sick. They wind up having to go to the hospital because of stress and anxiety. People wind up going into depression. It's a lot of stuff that, comes with that. So listening to your body and just being able to like work with it and trying things and seeing what really and truly works for you at what times, I think is going to be one of the biggest advantages that you have, and that can help you in order to like increase your productivity and help you in terms of like maximizing your time. This I always use like examples about like content creation or like professional work, but this can also work in terms of like your personal life, right? As it pertains to like how you might deal with like your family, your friends, your kids, or whatever. I mean, your kids are your family, but you know what I'm saying. These things are like more relative than we think, more related. I need to pick up a book. Anyway, those are my pieces of advice for that. I think also one of the biggest things that we kind of like touched on earlier is about finding out what your biggest distraction is. So I've already said that my biggest distraction is like scrolling on social media. That's like my thing. Even then I have to kind of like I have to reel it in, because I've got things I have to take care of, and I can't take care of it if I'm spending 2 and 3 hours scrolling on Facebook and watching stand-up comedy. But finding out what those biggest distractions are, like what is that for you? Is that like your phone? Is it your environment? Is it like, are you just exhausted and burnt out from certain things? Is it your family? Because I think that once you're able to like indicate what that is, from there you can actually start creating those boundaries that will really help you in terms of those consistently being a distraction from hence on forth. When I say, boundaries, it's also like just putting up like the guardrails a little bit. So for example, I'll say for me, I always tell people, this is kind of passive aggressive, I'm not going to lie, but I always tell people like, hey, if you need anything, you can just hit me up. I always keep my phone on 24/7, blah, blah, blah. But truth be told, I do use do not disturb. I like totally use it. I don't know why I tell people call me anytime and then I put do not disturb on. That's kind of like shady, but I do it. Like I will put do not disturb on for the simple fact that like, yo, it's times that I cannot be bothered. Like I need sleep. I need to spend time with my family. I got to do focus work. Whatever it is I need, like I'll set it up. While I'm at work and my hours are 8 to 5, I have do not disturb set for 8 to 5. And I mean it. I do not want to be disturbed. Now, I do have exceptions that I make. So like certain people and certain apps can get through. But most of my notifications are going to be cut off. I don't get notifications from Facebook because I think that their notifications are absolutely ridiculous in terms of the frequency. Some people are, actually a lot of people are just, on that do not disturb list because I know that they're going to call or they're going to send a message. And I know me, and the minute I see my phone, I'm going to be looking over. That's a problem. Can't have that, right? So I think that that's definitely been helpful for me, especially on the work tip. Also, when we're at the house and we're taking like naps and stuff like that, definitely set my phone on do not disturb. And maybe even going to a different location to do your work. So if, for example, let's say like your house is too noisy. I don't know if you have like roommates or you have like significant others or something like that. But like if your place is too noisy or something like that, you just need a place where you can go. You can always go to like the library or like a coffee shop or even the park or something like that where you can get some like bomb Wi-Fi. Go and get your stuff done. You don't have to be like restricted into the same location and be, not get your stuff done because that's your habit. You can break yourself out of that habit and do what you're not used to doing so you can get the job done. Whatever works for you, and you can try it. And if it doesn't work, you don't ever have to do it again. If you need to like wake up earlier, I dare not say stay up later because that's not good for everybody. I know I'm struggling with that, but like maybe waking up earlier, I think that would be like a good option if you can afford to do that, as long as you're making sure that you're meeting like your 7 to 8 hours of sleep. You'd be surprised at like the amount that you could get done in even just a small window of time being up before everybody else. I find that to be the best time because this time is protected. It's almost sacred. You know what I'm saying? And nobody can touch that. Nobody even knows you're awake. Nobody cares about you at that time. I'm just saying, because everyone's trying to get that sleep before that alarm goes off. So when you're up before everybody else, you can get up and do what you need to do, get the thing done. You could probably get a lot more done than you give yourself credit for. I'm just saying. Also, maybe meal prepping. One of the things I like to do is I like to meal prep typically like on Sundays. So I will meal prep for like the whole week. And sometimes I'll take it a step further just because of the fact that I have a lot of different hats I wear. So sometimes I will meal prep for myself because I'll be eating like in a certain way. And then I'll meal prep for like the rest of my family. Now, we can all eat the same kind of foods, but they typically like to eat different foods every couple of days. Whereas I'm the type of person I could probably eat the same foods, a few days back to back. It's not a thing for me. But I like to be able to make sure everybody's taken care of. So I just take like a couple of hours out of my Sunday to prepare for the week ahead. When you really look at it in the grand scheme of things, like a couple of hours on a Sunday compared to like the rest of the week is a win. I'm here to tell you. So it can save you so much time and so much money if you just think about taking care of just that one little thing on Sunday. If you know how to cook. If you don't know how to cook, that's cool too. They make instant pots and slow cookers and all the things for a reason. And you can meal prep in those. I've meal prepped doing the barbecue grill outside. Just simplifying it, doing whatever you need to do to make it easier for you. So it's like one less thing you have to think about throughout your week. Because let me tell you something, the week can go by really slow or it can go by really fast. And if you have something on deck saying like, oh, I've already taken care of this on Sunday, you can really be grateful in the moment when you say, whew, thank God I thought about myself ahead of time. So now I don't have to be like stressing out about, well, what are we going to have for dinner? Or what am I going to have for lunch? Or crap, I got to go out and spend $15, $20 here and I don't even have it to, go get something to eat. Like, who wants to be thinking about that? I don't want to be thinking about that. And when I don't meal prep, I be thinking about it. Just throughout life, there's going to be like different phases that you go through. There's going to be schedule changes. It's going to be all the things, right? And this is real stuff that happens in people's lives. It's sort of like the ebbs and flows. So there's always going to be the excuse of, I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. I will say, especially as it pertains to like within the past few years, there have been things that have come about to make things easier for people. In some instances, there might be, how they say like more solutions also cause more problems. But I do believe that there are solutions too that kind of help people along who have busy schedules as it pertains to things like, groceries, laundry, cooking. We're always going to have like an objection to it. I think just because we are trying to protect ourselves, right? Those who have a lot, who are the neck of the house. We are the ones who steer the head. Like, we got a lot going on. And so I think that it's just our safe space in a sense to be like, I just don't have time for it. Sometimes even without considering the amount of time it would take to do the thing. And even if we are given like new tasks, we'll still probably just be like, I don't know. Like, I got to see. Oh, let me go back and check with blah, blah, blah. Or I'm not really sure about that, because I think we have trained ourselves that is like our comfort space. I don't know what I was doing with my hand just now. That's how we've trained ourselves. And, once we kind of step outside of that and be like, oh, I'm trying something new, our nervous system reacts. I feel like we kind of snap back and then we're like, I don't know about that. I just don't have time for it. I'm just too busy. I'm too busy. But I think that if you have just a few minutes, you can schedule a grocery delivery or grocery pickup so you don't have to go to the store. Would you rather take 20 minutes to look around your house and see what you have, what you don't have, put it on your list and order it and have it ready in the next few hours for you to pick up? When you get the food, you can say, okay, go ahead. I can go ahead and take an hour or two and I can meal prep something, for the next week. That will save you so much time and so much money in the near future. When you think about laundry, for example, listen, laundry don't stop. I already know. But before you go and you wash the dishes or you do the thing with the kids, you can go ahead and throw a load in real quick. It's just sort of pre-planning. It's thinking ahead of time. It's just making sure that you're like, you know what? I'm trying to get this done. I have more tips and tricks that I'm not going to share in this video because I feel like this video is already packed with so much stuff. But I do have more that I can share with you in terms of things that have helped me in terms of like saving time, energy, because it's real. It's so real out here in these streets. Like, I'm not even going to hold you. But I think that this would be a good starting point for you. Clearly, you clicked on the video. You're interested in how to save time. I don't want to waste your time. So I want to tell you some things that have helped me. It may help you, it may not. But the best thing that you can do for yourself is at least give it a try and see. Because you know what I'm saying? You never know. It could be something that you're like, hey, because, your favorites became your favorite because once upon a time it wasn't your favorite. You just tried it. And all of a sudden you adapted to it. It became a part of you. And all of a sudden it's like your favorite thing. So there might be something here that you rock with, And so, I mean, if so, great. If not, cool too. If you have another tip though, that's what the comment section is for. You can feel free to go ahead and share that, not just with me, but like anybody else who's watching the video. And then we can really kind of have something that we can build off of, because I'm all about like trying things out and seeing if it works or if it doesn't work or whatever. I try in my my seasoned in my season prime, I try to do some things that are different so I don't get stuck in my ways, because the easiest thing to do is to get stuck in your ways. And we're going for something different, right? And you know what they always say, if you want something different, you're going to have to do something different. That's just where I am. That's where I am, and I hope that's where you are too, and that's why you're here. So I don't think that a person just doesn't have time. I think that they do have time. I think maybe they may think that they don't because they are so busy, but they don't realize that they do have pockets of time where they can get things done. And those things that they can get done is only meant to make things easier for them, in order for them to be able to navigate their lives a little bit more efficiently, if that makes any sense. If it sounds overwhelming, the best encouragement I can give you is to just start one step at a time. Just one step at a time. It could be one thing, or I don't know if you've read a book called Atomic Habits. This is really, really good, okay? I'm going to keep it real with you. I actually didn't finish the book, but I'm going to go back and reread and then finish it out. But so far, the things that I have read have been like awesome, absolutely awesome. And it talks also about like habit stacking, you know what I mean? Like doing like something on top of something else, and just how you can really implement that and make that a part of your life. So it doesn't seem like it's so overwhelming. It doesn't, sorry about my watch. Like, it's just like ding, ding, ding. I'm in a group chat and they are so disrespectful. I should put this on Do Not Disturb right now, but my phone is all the way over there. But yeah, like I said, if it does sound overwhelming, you can always just do like one thing at a time and then see how you feel with that. And then you can gauge it from there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I just challenge you to try it. Listen, I want you to try, but I want you to report back, okay? Don't just try it and be like, okay, we're done. I want you to report back and let me know how things worked out for you. And in the upcoming videos that I have, I'm going to be doing a lot of talking about like things like this in particular, but also you guys are going to be able to see the things that I do, the habits that I have, because I have been doing some new routines too. And I'm really excited in a nerdy kind of way to share it with y'all, because I think that it would be helpful. I think it would be valuable for people, for you. I really think that you would like things like that, because I'm changing things up a little bit. I'm changing things up just a little bit, but we're going to talk about everything. We're going to be talking about things like this, which is like productivity, self-improvement, the things that I've always kind of been harping on. But we're going to be talking about like, even like in our seasoned age and things that we're going through, and really just optimizing our health, our mental health, our productivity, improving oneself, because that's just where it's at. And I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to really just sit down and have this conversation with you. When I can, this watch is so disrespectful, but I can just tell you that this has been a very long time coming. This is a video that I have been meaning to put out since like the day before yesterday. Since the day before forever. And it's out. And I'm excited, and I'm just happy to have you on this journey with me. I'm going to do the best I can to make it informational, but also interesting, because, I mean, sometimes these topics are heavy. Like, who wants to be going through these heavy topics with, just a bunch of heaviness and, totally boring monologue, just that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense for me. So anyway, this is what I have. Thanks so much again for tuning in. If you feel so inclined, hit the subscribe button below. But I encourage you, more so than hitting the subscribe button, leave a comment. just leave a comment. That would be great. Leave a comment and let me know what you took away from this video. Let me know if there's something that you have to add to the conversation. For me, it's great to have the community. I think it's very important, but I don't really want to harp on that because of the fact that if it's not something that you're interested in, I don't want you to take part in it. You know what I'm saying? I have respect for other people's time and space, and I don't want to encourage people to subscribe if they're really not interested in the content. But you can take a look at my channel and see if you like some of the content that's there, and if it's something that you rock with and something that this is the journey that you're on too. I would love to have you be a part of it. But more important than anything, I want you to be an engaged person. Don't just be coming and stalking the videos and then we say nothing. I want you to engage because I would love to have a conversation with you furthermore. So again, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I will catch you guys in the next video. I'll talk to you soon. You guys take it easy.